welcome back to Laval's Corner, and today we're doing another episode of Trail Talk, the show where I interview the players of Red Dead Online to get a better understanding on what people want added into the world of Red Dead. And my guest here today is my very good friend, Miss Kitty Jones.
Hey, g'day. How you going?
So, Kitty, can you just tell a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I think first of all we started with my name, so yep. Hey, g'day. My name is Miss Kitty Jones. If you cannot already tell from my accent, I come from Australia. I herald from Queensland on the east coast of Australia at the moment. That's where I come from. Let's see, a bit about myself. Probably the most important thing, probably we'll start there, is that my family and myself actually live in the outback of Australia. So I guess it's not the Wild West, but it's just as fun. There's cows, there's horses, there's cattle dust, and that's exactly where I've just come from now. I stream, obviously, as well, usually only once a week, Red Dead Redemption, primarily because I really do like this game, and I always seem to find myself in some sort of situation and absolutely enjoy it. Outside of that, I think, probably most importantly, in the last couple of weeks I became an auntie. So
yeah, I've heard about
me.
that. Congratulations for
Yeah.
becoming an auntie, Kitty. I'm really happy for
Thank
you
you.
and your family.
Oh, young little William Stewart Charles is his name, and I do believe he's going to grow up to be an absolutely amazing bad guy. He's got the expression of Mr. Bean or Rowan Atkinson, and not Mr. Bean version, but actually Blackadder. That's showing my age, I guess, but if any of you've ever seen that, it's probably more of the dark side of Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
So he's quite a character.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's get this interview started, shall we?
Righto, hit me with your best shot. Let's go.
Okay. The first question is, as you said yourself that you stream, but what inspired you to start streaming? What was okay, this is something I want to do. What made you actually decide to start streaming?
Look, it's probably a combination of things. I always have enjoyed watching games on YouTube. Where I live, I don't always get the opportunities to sit and play video games as much as I enjoy it. I do so as a sort of a stress relief after work. So I've always looked at YouTube and enjoyed other channels to watch people's gameplay. But I never really saw, because I really liked Red Dead. The reason I finally decided I'd have a go is because I always watch these story missions and I'd watch these gameplays as though I was watching a movie. And then I came to Red Dead and I absolutely loved this game. But when I viewed other YouTube videos, I realised that, and I didn't take it personally, but it made me think about it a bit, but there weren't too many people who played the way I did. And if I could find them, they were few and far between. So I think when I first started out, there was CEO Foxtrot, who is definitely an immersive player, and it was certainly along my lines. And then, of course, there's Outlaw Dahlia, who, in her earlier streams, certainly had the same amount of luck as I did. And I absolutely enjoyed those, but there was really no one that I could connect to. And then it hit me. At the same time, I was writing and playing with Cap B. Royal. I think you interviewed him recently.
No. Cap's interview is next weekend, so no spoilers.
Next weekend?
No spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers. All right then. Well, we were writing together. We discussed it. We both really, really enjoyed this game. We have a lot of passion for it, a lot of love for it, and very invested in it. No, Cap. I know what you're going to say, but Cap is. Look, he's angry. He's like a disappointed father. He's just disappointed because he expected better, you know? And so he tells it how he is. Meanwhile, I'm a little... I certainly play. We're yin and yang, but we complemented each other. And then one day he said, well, why don't we just go for it? Let's just turn it on and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And at that stage, he did. And my very, very first stream was with Cap B. Ryle. And I think as soon as he turned it on, he never stopped streaming.
No.
I myself am not someone who always likes to be in the public eye, so I eventually, with that in mind, got the courage and went, you know what, I could probably do something on my own. And it evolved from there. It evolved from 3 or 4 hour sessions of gameplay of me just wandering around, and then I ended up realising, look, I want to show that you can still have fun in this game.
Yeah.
What, 3-4 years on still. So, and that's how one thing formed to another, and I'm still learning, but that's how the MKJ replay came about. The name itself from T-Mad, who has always been a great source of advice.
Yeah.
And then, boom, just happened.
Okay.
And there's an amazing community that's out there for some reason. If they don't laugh with me, they laugh at me. Either way, I don't mind, and it's been a jolly good time.
Okay, God, I can't read my own handwriting, sorry. But when you like first start out, or when you do a stream, do you get nervous? Sorry. Do you get nervous, or are you feeling anxious, like, oh my God, how is this gonna go? Or do you just like, you know what, wing it? I'm gonna wing it. Or are you nervous when you are about to?
I am, look, dead set. Nerves. I think if anyone's here who is familiar with my streams may or may not know that, as well as yourself, a lot of the time you might see some of my moderators and I guess co-writers that are there, Joelle and Saracen. They have to deal with me pre-show. It's only a 1 hour, and look, I do look at my 1 hour as entertainment. I genuinely try to be engaging. I genuinely try to show the best of this game, and I try not to have too many lulls. In addition to that, I didn't want to do anything really that anyone else was doing. And in a game with only limited options, that's pretty hard. So I for the most part, plan things out, and you've watched my shows. That includes writing the MKJ RDR news.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen on the spur of the moment. So a lot of planning does go into my 1 hour stream, and I'm learning all of this. As you can imagine, I've got Outback Potato Internet. Makes it good fun. So
well,
I
I also have that internet.
Yeah, so to answer your question, yes, I most certainly do get nervous, simply because I am putting me on show. And I don't know, I guess when you expose yourself like that, and you expose what you like, and you expose something that you're truly putting a lot of effort and work into, it can be very nervous. And when you want to do a good job. So, and still to this day I do. I'm not always very cheery. I can swear like a sailor sometimes, and well, Joelle and Saracen have copped it a couple of times, simply for interrupting me when I was just trying to get that joke right, and they've sort of, oh, but what? Or why? Or maybe you should try this. And I wouldn't be in the position I am without them. They're genuinely a good source of help and support. But yes, definitely get nervous. Still to this day, I babble way too much.
No, you're not the only one. I can tell you that. I get nervous when I'm about to start streams too. So.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I said, you put it in there. Yeah.
Okay. Next question: was it difficult to start out? Like, when you first started out streaming, was it difficult to like get views, or did you care about views in general, or did you just do it for fun? But the question is, was it difficult, like hard to actually put yourself out there and do the MK ride along?
Yeah, the replay. No. I think if we go back to some of my first streams, like I said before, they genuinely were just, I picked up the controller, I'd just gotten home from a full day's of work, I poured myself a glass of wine. Salty, if you are out there, God bless you. Geez, there was Greybeard, Salty, there's like a few people there that just rode along with me, and it was a sort of a soft entry. I wasn't in it for entertainment. I was just genuinely just showing. If someone turned up, they did. If they didn't, that's okay too. Testing the internet. At the end of the day, I was just testing the waters. As
Yeah.
it evolved, as it became more into it, yeah, I guess it's a bit more planning. What I'll get you to do is I'll just get you to sort of to get into it. No, it really wasn't that difficult. But now at the other end, when I realised that I've got over the initial nerves, I've got over the initial introduction, I've met some really great people who do this, who've offered their advice, especially with technical stuff. Now it is more about the heart. Now I can concentrate on what my main goal is, and that, as I said before, is to promote fun in gaming. Just genuinely a good time and an easy time, and have a laugh and have a drink and tell a joke and just look on the bright side of it. So now that I've got more of an intent and a sort of a program I want to develop, now it's definitely more difficult. So, but to start with, oh hell no. Honestly, it was even Cap who pressed the first button to stream. So, and went from there.
Okay, let's see now. What do you like to do in Red Dead Online besides streaming? Like, you only stream once a week, but do you only play the game once a week? Or do you actually, like, play the game on a regular basis and actually hang out with friends? So what do you like to do in Red Dead Online besides, you know, streaming and doing the MKJ news and stuff like that? So what do you like to do besides streaming?
Oh, that's... what don't I like to do? I think one of the main things that sets me apart, and something I definitely still do out of streaming, is I certainly play immersive, and I play a lot slower. So I'm always enjoying testing out different guns. My map is always off. My free aim is... the assist is always turned down now these days. And I genuinely like to challenge myself in an immersive way. I like to think, you know what? Cowboys and cowgirls, bounty hunters back in the day, probably didn't lucky enough to have the little GPS trackers with red dots.
Yeah.
And they didn't get to be bullet sponges as my character is now at something ridiculous level. So I like to add that element of difficulty. I think one of the best people that summarized that sort of immersion up for me is a YouTuber called Tiberius Rex. He did a small video of why he does it, and honestly, when I watched that, I'd been playing quite immersive at the time, but he sort of hit the nail on the head. So I certainly do a lot of that. I enjoy the dailies, not to do dailies. I'm not a daily grinder. I really am not. But I like looking at the dailies because it gives me an option when it concentrates, and it might say, oh, you've got to do a Bonnie McFarlane mission. Well, I'll be like, oh, there you go. There's something I can do. Let's see if I can do it. In addition to getting immersive in the game, I also have a tendency to spend way too much gold on horses. And I have quite a silly personal goal, but I'm getting there. I intend 100% online. I know that is going to be impossible, but that's what I'm going to try to do. And by that I mean I am doing every single stranger. I have done nearly every single bounty. I have done every single moonshine story up and until Ruthless. I have done every single, I said bounty before, to 5-star as well. I put my camp in all different regions to ensure that when Crips gives me a resupply mission to do, that I have done genuinely every single mission in each region, because they do differ. They have differed. There is some really interesting ones out there. My favourite are the ones where we get them off the train, but when you've got to rob the sheriff, or when you have to go in and, or a bootlegger mission. There's another one. I've just moved my moonshine. Anyway, you get the point. I'm 100% in the game, including I've pretty much bought a lot of things. Like Madame Nazar has nothing that I don't own. I am working on the catalogue and the clothing, and I would say that I'm nearly 90% of that. The only items I don't own are ridiculously priced in gold, and I've been here long enough to earn probably as much, if not on par, with a lot of grinders out there, but I genuinely do spend my gold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's my personal goal. I'm going to 100% this game. I am going to own every single item at Gus's shop. I am going to own every single item in the catalogue. And I am going to own... It's just, when I turn around and Rockstar says, well, look, there's plenty there to do, I can legitimately say, well, I have in fact done it all. Please, I'll enjoy and see what comes next.
Yeah. So in other words, you are a hoarder, a Red Dead hoarder.
Yes, and I enjoy using the different stuff. I really do. Like, the other day I pulled out the elephant rifle just to see if I could do a bounty hunt with an elephant rifle alone. I wasn't allowed to touch my pistols or my guns. So, and I enjoy, I give myself goals. I really do.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of fun, and for some reason I also seem to bring a lot of luck that way, so it's never a dull time when I jump on.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm pretty sure that when I can, I'm lucky enough to join either yourself, Saracen, youre, or even Cap. And when they're not streaming, because I am quite a private person, and we just have a barrel of laughs. It's my end of the day. I've usually got a whiskey beside me, or a red wine, or something to that effect, and I'm just sitting down for the day, chilling out, enjoying a laugh or two, telling a joke, and genuinely having fun.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not a question, but it's just something that I want to ask, and that is like, you have met a lot of people, including me, but has it been difficult for you? Are you like an introvert that doesn't like to meet new people, or are you an extrovert that is like, hey, you wanna hang out with us? We can help you out. So are you like the Red Dead introvert or the Red Dead extrovert? Like, do you stick to your specific group, or do you like to like go out there and meet new people, like you did when you were in the rookie days? And we've all been in the rookie days.
Yeah. A bit of both. I don't know if you've ever heard of personality tests. If you've been in the corporate world long enough, if you've been in schooling long enough, you understand that there's different categories of people, extroverts and introverts. And I think the best way, I think I'm going to clarify the extrovert and introvert definition first, so that you understand my answer. Now, extroverts and introverts can both people really, really well. The difference is that extroverts gain energy from being around people. Introverts, it takes energy. So one gains, one takes. They can both be incredibly social people, but one will be in a group of people and it's quite, once they're done with that party or they're done with that group, they feel quite fatigued. They're like, oh my god, I gotta sit down, have a 5-minute break, cup of tea by myself, and the other person's like, right, let's go, I am an introvert, definitely, but I am blessed to be able to people well. I also have a really genuine love of video gaming. A genuine love for seeing adults to seniors to people of all walks of life who don't genuinely get to game in-game. And that includes people where I live, right here in the outback. There's a lot of folks that have to work from daylight to dusk out in the actual paddock and out in the bush. They don't sit in computers, they don't really understand technology, but they really enjoy watching me. They understand my sense of humour. And so when folks like that get on board, and Red Dead is, thank God, has a really mature game. The age might...
Sorry to interrupt. Well, we just got a message from a very funny guy from Portugal. Please welcome João. Hi João, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. Sorry to interrupt, I just had to welcome João.
No, that's alright. Well, to answer my question, and I'll sum up, I am an introvert, definitely. for me to do my stream, for me to hang out with folks, does take a lot of energy out of me. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I love my friends. I love meeting new people, and I really enjoy their story. There's a lot of unique folks around here, from yourself to Mr. Joao, to Cap, to Black Knight, to T-Mad. There's and Hacker, Ducky. Like, there are some amazing people here. But it does take energy for me to be in a public setting. Saying that, if I see a new person or if I've got a wagon to go, I strongly believe in pay it forward, and to get good karma, you have to put that in the world. So, look, I, like a lot of us who probably watch your channel, Laval, a lot who watch Black Knight, are probably along the same lines as myself. They probably have a personal rule: I won't shoot you until you shoot me. And for me personally, I also, if I've got someone and I can see that they're brand new to the game, if they've sort of waved and said hello, they seem pretty friendly, if they jump in on the posse, we'll do a couple of missions, then by crikey, I'm going to share them a wagon, because I remember the grind. If they're half decent, certainly folks who come along to my stream, if they're starting out in the game, I'm more than happy to share my knowledge. But then I'm also really keen to hear their story and how much or whether they are enjoying this game as well. So it's all about the stories. So it's a complicated answer to a pretty straightforward question, but I'm an introvert, but I do enjoy a good story, and there's a lot of really, really unique folk and pretty mature all walks of life in this particular game, and every single one of them have an amazing story to tell, and I love listening to them.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on to an actual question. I'm sorry, but I just figured that we put a little something in there to like get the person actually going to have to think about the answer, so I think that's good. It's kind of hard to explain, and also I'm sick right now, so I shouldn't even be talking, but...
Oh, yeah, I think you're doing fantastic. Well, if it's anyone being too boring, it's probably me. So,
no.
Look, I don't mind. Let's get into it. I'll have a good chat.
Okay.
So what do you got?
Do you got any advice for new streamers like myself that are just starting out with streaming? Like, what's your advice? Do you have like... Yeah, what's your advice on like if people should, or if someone like, take for example a young guy, he wants to start streaming but he doesn't really know what his streams are gonna be about. Do you got like any advice for this particular person that just wanna start out but he doesn't know what to do?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think everyone starts, whether you start with an idea or you don't start with an idea in streaming, the best thing you can do is just start. If you don't know where to start, just switch on, have a go, just stream, then go from there. The advice I will give is don't try to be like anyone else.
Yeah.
I like you. There's too many folks out there, and you guys know yourself. When you flick through the streams and you see different people, you go, oh yeah, I saw that, I got that. You know, there's a lot of people doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
That's not to say you don't go find something different, because when you do it, you might do it really well because you really love it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say, is that choose something that you really enjoy, because that way we'll enjoy it as viewers. When we watch you enjoy, that's half the battle. No one wants to truly hang around you know, if you've got a stream that you're always sort of, you're down, sad, you know, people are at YouTube for either entertainment or to escape or to chuck something on while they're at work. And it's a lot more entertaining and a lot more brilliant and a lot more enjoyable for the listener if they can hear someone who's enjoying what you do.
Yeah.
So, for sure. And so just start, do something you enjoy, because I kid you not, those first 2 steps you'll learn what you want to do. And then, I guess, be you.
Yeah.
Just make sure you try not to be like anyone else. Just be
Yeah,
you.
that's the thing, like, I can tell you, like, when I first started streaming, I wanted to do like daily streaks and stuff like that, but everyone was just doing it, so I didn't like feel like, okay, this is not unique. I want to do something that is particularly like my thing. And
Laval, I've
that's
known you long enough to know you don't even enjoy daily grinding. You're an action man.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't enjoy doing dailies. I want more action. You've known me for about 2 years now, which is incredible
Yeah.
when we come to think
Yeah,
about it.
I know, time
I've
flies.
known like people in this game for 2 years, and it feels like yesterday when you thought I was Cherokee.
Yeah, look, some folks might confuse my accent. It was just because of your character and the way you spoke, the knowledge you had. I was a little confused. I was like,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah, but
There we go.
it's okay. I just do that because I think it's a very funny story. But yeah, I'm not Cherokee. I like the Cherokees. They're really nice people. I've actually met real life Cherokees in this game, and they're some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. But I am not Cherokee.
No, well, okay. I think we got that sorted. I soon figured that
Yeah.
out.
Okay, but like when I started out with my channel, like I wanted to be like, I'm not gonna say their names, but I wanted to be like specific streamers that we know and we watch, and they do dailies and do all that kinds of stuff. And I tried it, but it's just a grind, and I don't like the grind because it feels like I don't get anything out of it. And when I ran out of ideas, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna do an interview slash podcast
And
with,
I think that's brilliant. I genuinely think that's a pretty good idea because I just said it. There are a lot of folks out there with come from different walks of life. Like I just said, I live in the middle of the outback.
yeah,
Where on earth was I ever going to meet a Portuguese man, hey Joelle, hat tap to you, a Kentucky man, so here's to you, Cap, if you're watching this on the replay, and a Swedish man like yourself. Like, gaming is so popular worldwide, and it brings a lot of folks together.
yeah,
And it is amazing to literally be able to talk to people from different countries,
yeah,
and to think that there are generations of folks that played this game who, when they first started out as youngins, there weren't anything such as mobile phones, things like that. Like, it just, yeah, what a world to live in, and especially in the last couple of years when life has been really tough for a lot of folks. I've been really blessed being where I am because I'm kind of isolated anyway, so I
yeah,
can still go outdoors and not have a lot of folks on my footsteps. But there are plenty out there that had to do it real tough, and getting into this sort of gaming world has been
yeah.
amazing for folks to
I'm,
meet.
I
But then,
mean,
like you said,
I mean, when everything happened with the pandemic and everything, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna install Red Dead Online, and I did, and lo and behold, here I am almost 2 years later, and I still have the same friends that I made about 2 years ago.
that's
And
exactly.
I met a few other people on the way, but I still
Oh,
when I still see like that the old guard, as I like to call them, when I see that some of those guys are on, then I'm gonna jump in on them and hang out with them and be like, where the F have you guys been?
right, right. I think even one of our friends has become a mom again. I guess she's already a mom, but yeah, and it's just life happens, when you create a really good group of people and you
Yeah.
get a group of people around. So, Laval, I know you probably got a few more questions for me, but I'd like to interject here and ask a question of my own and just sort of, I'd like to try and see if I can catch my interviewer off guard.
Okay, well, that's actually one of the questions because I always put in what's a specific thing you want me to ask or ask me. So,
Ah, bugger.
if
I'll
you
just
got
have to catch you off guard.
no, but I am caught off guard because I don't know what you're gonna ask me, but okay,
Let's
here we
go.
go.
Okay. All right. I am going to go with It's a two-part question.
Mhm.
There is, who would you, how do I say this? Kiss, one night stand, and marry in this game. Of all the characters we've got across Red Dead Online and Red Dead Story Mode, who would you kiss? Who would you... and who would you marry? The polar opposite of that is, the second part of that is, who did you invite to dinner? Who would you have a beer with? And who would you ride in a posse with?
Are we talking
one's more about...
we're talking about characters, right?
I didn't limit it. I said Red Dead Story and Red Dead Online.
Okay, so characters. So, someone, a character from story
let's start
mode.
with the first one.
A character from story mode that I would like kiss. Okay.
Of course you would, you wow. Of course you would. There's no lack of self-confidence in that, man.
Let me actually think about that. Okay, I would probably...
Why we love you.
I would probably... I would probably kiss, like, Mary Beth Gaskell, you know, the girl from the camp that Dutch has a crush on.
Yes, yep.
I would have a... with... yeah, this is a Christian stream, by the way, so we're not allowed to curse.
No, that's fine. We'll call it a one-night courting, or a one-night card game with.
Yeah. Tilly Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And...
Unexpected answer, I like it. It's probably
okay, and Mary. Probably, you know... Abigail, yeah.
So you'd marry Abigail. So you would kiss Mary Beth.
Yeah.
Red-headed sweetheart. You'd play patty cake with Tilly.
Yeah.
Okay. And you would marry
Abigail, yeah. Okay, and who would I like to have a beer with?
A beer with, take to dinner to have a, you know, a beer with, advice with, ride in a posse with. Think of it that way.
Okay,
Who you'd have a beer with, who you'd take advice from, and who would you ride in a posse with?
Okay, so I would definitely like...
Of course you would, you are.
I would have a beer with, I think, like, Arthur. I know that's like, many people will like
say... I don't think he'd be too much of a sad sack.
No,
if you're not into talking, he would be a good person to...
Yeah, but I think, like, Arthur, because he has an interesting story, and I think that if I could, like, sit down, have a beer with him, I could, like, maybe, you know, help him see that there is still joy in this world. You just have to find it. Like, yeah, so I would definitely have a beer with Arthur. You know, him and Lenny, they went out for a couple of cold ones.
Well, no, actually, I stand corrected. You're probably right. After a few beers, you probably liven up.
Yeah.
A bit.
And who would I like to have advice from? Like, you know, sit down and... Definitely Hosea. Hosea.
Okay.
Because Hosea he's an old guy, he's been around long enough, he's been like a father figure for the rest of the gang. So yeah, I would definitely have Hosea, because I think he would like... If I talk to Hosea, he would like sit down and actually like, listen son, this is the way it is.
Yeah. Right.
And who would I ride in a posse with? It's gotta be the one and only loudmouth Irishman. Sorry, Captain Hood, if you're watching this later. But the one and only loudmouth Irishman, Sean Maguire.
Oh. Geez, you don't think he'd get you into too much trouble?
I think that I would get Sean into trouble.
Go on. Well, that brings me to my final question. I guess it's a follow-up on those two. You only get one man to hang from a high tree. who would it be, or would you hang anyone at all? Maybe you've got a different form of justice. But who would you hang? You're only allowed one person.
A person I would hang from a tree. Well, there are a lot of persons I would like to see hanged from a tree. One of them starts with a C and ends with a Lyde. Clyde, I'm joking.
He's not too bad on the gun. No, I was going to say you'd have to be quick. You'd have to be quick, you'd have to be sharp to catch him. His bounty would be high.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Clyde is nothing but polite.
Oh, God.
He's nothing but a gentleman to me.
Yeah,
I don't know
to you.
roll him up, Laval, but...
What I do, he riles me up.
Yeah, because you don't half-start it, hey?
He bum-rushed a player off a cliff just because.
Well, that's one way to start a conversation and start a beautiful friendship. Cheers to you, Clyde.
To bum-rush someone, yeah, definitely.
Hey, it takes awful. Some people are just more eager
Okay,
than
but I guess that if a person...
Be your fancy?
No. We're talking about characters in like story mode / online, so I would definitely like...
No, I just said Red Dead Online and Red Dead Story Mode. In the Red Dead universe, basically. So.
Yeah, but besides Clyde, because he's like a brother to me, I would definitely probably hang Micah.
Solid answer.
Yeah. We don't need to actually go into too much detail on why, because everyone who has played story mode knows. So we don't need to get into too much detail.
Oh.
Okay, but...
There you go, that's pretty interesting answers.
Yeah.
I like that one. Tilly, the fact that you'd play patty cake with Tilly only once is... I think of her as quite a beautiful, innocent, and probably out of all of them the most ladylike, so I'm...
Yeah,
very surprised by that. But you do have good taste.
Okay, I was gonna like ask you these questions now, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable, so we'll just move on.
Oh, go on. You and I have been friends for long enough.
Okay. Okay, so if we got time when the regular questions are done, we will get more.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
Yeah. Okay, but.
Actually, that reminds me, folks, if you are catching up and you do have a question, can I suggest maybe you put a comment down below, a question you'd like to see Laval ask his next guest, and you said your next guest is going to be Cat B. Ryle?
Yeah, I've already bought Riot Gear.
Right, well, if you're catching this on the replay a little later on, cheers, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for watching. I know Laval's going to say that, but I'd be interested to see some of the questions that come out. What questions would you guys in chat genuinely like to ask Cat B. Ryle?
This video is going to be blocked, but...
Alright, well let's keep going and we'll keep this show on the road. Thanks,
okay, besides like Red Dead, which we can all agree that we have a love-hate relationship to, because we love Red Dead Online, but we hate the company that made Red Dead Online.
Yes and no, but keep going.
Okay.
So the question is, where you going, but...
What other games do you like to play besides Red Dead?
Oh, holy. I just watched the movie for Uncharted.
Yeah.
Before Red Dead, I obviously played Red Dead, the first Red Dead. I have played GTA 5, the story mode, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. The twists and turns, it's like Usual Suspects meets Ocean 11. But my hands down favourites, the games that I replay nearly every single year, is... I sort of alternate between Tomb Raider and Uncharted, but Nathan Drake out of Uncharted, the wit between him and Sully and the characters, that kind of humour, the action pack, it's a game that you start playing and you literally lose time because it's so action packed, something's always happening. It's genuinely like an action movie, like a Mission Impossible movie. So I would definitely say it was a game I recently restreamed, the very first one, just because I knew that the movie came out and I was in the cinema the other day, Laval, and
Yeah.
I haven't been to the cinema myself in absolute years, and so when I walked in and the aircon was way too cold and that smell of popcorn just hits you, I
Yeah.
was like a kid in a candy shop. I had the biggest grin on my face. Then I got into the cinema. I had my extra jacket for the aircon. The popcorn was that little bit too salty, but that's okay because I had a massive soft drink beside me. I genuinely, the lights went down and I enjoyed it. It was a real good experience to be back at
Yeah.
the cinema and
I
to watch a movie that
I've
I
been
was in
wanting
heaven.
to watch the Uncharted movie. I've asked people about it and they say that it's not like 100% truthful to the source material, but you know, they have to start somewhere. So they're
Well,
respectful to the source material, yeah, but they making their own thing.
oh, for sure, for sure. Look, I'm a die-hard Uncharted fan, and I would say that 90% of what they've done you can find in over the 4 to 5 games. You
Mm.
really can. There was one deviation that I noted, but look, I took it as a sign. It was blaring me. It wasn't a bad deviation. Actually, it was quite humorous. It was sweet. Um, but I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll go on board with that. But it was to do with Sully.
Yeah.
But as for the rest of it, yeah, you're right. This is a movie that was is a prequel to the game, to the fourth game, and particularly the childhood in the fourth game. So
Yeah.
we're looking at a movie where the brothers are still a thing the first time he meets Sully, whereas in the game with Nathan Drake knows Sully. He's got a wonderful repertoire. These guys are like bros, you know. They
Yeah.
know each other really well. But in the movie, this is when they're first getting to know each other. And if you know anything about Uncharted, it'd be like
I've played all
it,
the Uncharted games, so yeah, I know.
and that question is probably directed to your audience. It's like James Bond meets
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, so it would be like um, Indiana Jones himself and his partner meeting for the first time. They're like rival collectors. So there's a lot of respect, but there's also a lot of distrust there because we both know that, wow, they're not exactly uh, anthropologists, I guess, or what have you. They're not looking after these things. They're basically treasure hunters. They're adventurers. So
Yeah.
yeah, but for the most part, it was definitely pretty cool. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm a big recommend. Look, if you what gave it away for me was that folks that didn't even know the game were laughing and enjoying the movie. If you know the games, you go in with a set of sort of judgment beforehand. You go in with a criteria. Have they done this? Have they done this? And you're trying to tick it off. And they might tick off 7 out of 10. You're like, yeah, well, they didn't get those last 3, so I don't know. But
Yeah.
genuinely, just as a movie, nah. Folks who didn't know the game enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's a delightful movie. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
mind it. So that would be answer your question. I play Uncharted, Tomb Raider, a lot of single story player games because of my internet where I am,
Yeah.
and a lot of Red Dead. I've just started adventuring into ESO or Elder Scroll Online. I'm still working that stuff out because that's a massive game.
Yeah.
And look, I actually have a life outside of games. I have real horses.
Yeah.
I have a real job to do. So gaming is there, but there are some games you have. I love a good single story because you can put down the game. It's like putting down a movie, hitting pause, or putting a bookmark in the book. I can come back to it. I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Whereas these multiplayer online games, a lot can happen. So
Yeah.
I try to just stick to Red Dead as my multiplayer, but for the rest is
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, Uncharted. Single stories of The Last of Us was good, but that's an emotional roller coaster. Ugh. But yeah, definitely those two
Yeah.
are my favourite other games.
Yeah.
Long
Okay,
answer, wasn't it?
so well, a long answer is always a good answer because then we fill in the time gaps.
Oh, that's why I'm here, just to fill the gaps, right? Thanks, Laval. Nice. How to
Okay.
compliment your guests, buddy. Righto. No, keep going, doll. You're good.
Okay. Okay. When it comes to like Red Dead, players have been asking like, we want this added, and why can't Rockstar give us this, and yada yada yada. What would you like to see added into this game? Like specific like roles, specific horses. I know that you like horses, but
Oh,
like
for sure.
what specific like type of role would you like to see added, or like a role expansion? What would you like to see added into
Uh,
Red Dead Online?
I'm going to be a little controversial here, and okay, there's a bit for me. You talked about the companies behind the game. Rockstar in their creative team are really good at making games and are really good at telling stories. And I love delving into those stories because I've always seen twists and turns and they tell a good bloody story. What I would like to see for Red Dead Online is perhaps not a new role, but is the completion of the current roles. So I want to see what happens with Jessica, Leclerc and Hawley. I want to see Clyde and Clive. You know, we got teased there. I want to see, we got an expansion to the bounty hunter role. I'd love to see what expansions they've got in store for the others. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I think there's something in the works. I always have ideas what I'd like to see in those S's. Set little things like an example. I'm going to get a bit off field because I don't want to say anything of the standard. I think we all know what a lot of us want to see,
Yeah.
aka Mexico, aka blah blah blah. Maybe I'd like to see enrichment and more storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, let's not repeat the same grinding work. Let's add a story. So you've got the collector role, you've got Madame Nazar. Let's flesh her character out a little more. You know, let's go on a few missions or with her, and not just the same old retrieving folks, but maybe let's get into the story development because I guess for want of another word, it's kind of like questing, but I
Yeah.
just don't want the same mechanics to repeat. You,
Yeah.
you, there's only so many different things that you can do, but yeah, with Madame Nazar, an example for that role extension may simply be when the next expansion comes out, her character's fleshed out, but we add the type of when you go to Madame Nazar, instead of just buying stuff, maybe she can send you on missions
Yeah.
to get particular items.
Yeah.
You know, but it's really difficult though. I look at the game as a whole, and a lot of things cross over, and I see
Yeah.
that a lot. People say, "Oh, I want to be able to rob a bank." Well, you can. Oh, I want to be able to rob a train. Well, you can. Oh, I want to be able to storm a town. Well, you can do that nearly 3 or 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
You have so many delightful characters in this game.
Mhm.
Instead of just making them that stranger you visit, let's give them a personality. Let's give them a life. Let's give them a story. Because then we can get to know these characters. Why are we supposed to hate James Langton?
Yeah.
Look, he's the perfect example for me. I don't like him. But then I just find him pompous and he's in my area. But then on the same token, I have a fondness for Shaky. He's
Yeah.
annoying, but his character itself lends itself to comedy, tragedy there, and I think that these things can be fleshed out. So to answer your story, I don't know if I really want to see a new role brought in because there's things that here we can do. People want to be an outlaw, just pick up a telegram mission. Go rob a house, go rob a train, go rob a bank. You know, you can do these things. They're there, and I know that they will be coming. But let's make this world that's famous for being immersive. Let's make this game whose story is famous for being an intriguing and involving and an amazing story. Let's bring the class act elements from the story mode into online. I guess that's what I want to see. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, I do.
What I've sort of said there. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see. A little more fleshing out of our characters, completions of stories, and of course, everyone, I really want to see. Oh, I forgot his name. It was on the tip of my tongue. In the first Red Dead, you meet him over in Mexico. Old
Reyes.
gunslinger.
No, Landon Ricketts.
Landon Ricketts. By crikey, I want to see his story. But that might be an idea for Red Dead 3.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Landon Ricketts' story because there's a suave character that could be interesting to know about. He clearly is a conscious... Anyway, that's another conversation. I answered that one. I won't keep babbling. I know the folks at home are probably sitting there going, just shut up, woman. Get to the point. So,
no.
From Jessica Leclerc, Hawley, because Whiskey Jack or Max Ammo, you guys know him as, he thinks Hawley's a bad guy. I personally think no. I think Hawley's got a lot of love for Jessica Leclerc. So I think he's just the right man to have by his side. So I'd like to see these stories end.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see them fleshed out. Make us choose a side. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
This one might be a little bit... so if you don't want to answer, that's completely fine. But have you ever gotten like hate or spam when streaming or on other platforms? Like, has there ever been like one person that's been like, can I play, can we play together? Or when you say, no, I can't really play, and then they'll be like, oh, you think you're so good, you can't play with a rookie. Has that ever happened to you? Because I know that has happened to a lot of other people.
The answer is no. Look, I'm pretty straightforward, and I like everyone's story, and I'm happy to give everyone a go. But look, as it's human nature, we're not all going to get along.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for folks that I necessarily don't need to share a drink with.
Yeah.
So I find that if I'm honest, straight up, but I also am very careful. I am also very, very lucky that usually when I'm streaming, it's not prime time for folks. So it's after the fact. I have been griefed.
Yeah.
I have been, I think it's a hazard of being the anonymity that is online. You have a lot of folks that are really, really brave behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be quite so face to face. And then you have a lot of folks in the world who are just really, really twisted and really angry.
Yeah.
And this is a place, the internet as a whole is a place for them to sort of get that anger out, get that twisted nature, or even get that evil part out of them without repercussions. And I don't think that there is one person that isn't aware of that part of being online.
Yeah.
I just try to practice good safety first.
Yeah.
I have been a part of just being a little too naive and perhaps got a lot of unwanted solicited attention as a result. And I had to... It was a shock. I'm just not used to it. It's not something that happened in my culture. I guess we're pretty straightforward for the most part, and we... Yeah, it's... But that's the anonymity of internet. There are a lot of cowards in the world, and they like the idea that if I hide behind my keyboard, it's a bit like Facebook or any social media, you know? They can hide behind their own self-belief, their own built-up sort of ideas and sort of thing, and then the anonymity, and then they think that they're without fault. But at the end of the day, I also look at these people and I realise that there is a lot of turmoil behind that.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm really, really fortunate that I have a very happy and healthy life. I mean, where we are in Australia, we've got enough natural disasters to worry about. We don't really get into the he said, she said sort of politics of it all. And there's a lot of people that's all that there is in their life.
Yeah.
This is it. So I'm not going to get mad, because if that's all they've got, then look, I consider myself pretty blessed, and someone who's envious or feels the need to take down someone else because they're jealous or has a lot of hate and anger in their heart, and need to take it out on others, well, it only works if you affect me. And at the end of the day, there's a little button on my Xbox, or my PlayStation, I should say. I'm on PlayStation at the moment. I can hit that, I can walk out the backyard, and I can brush my horse.
Yeah.
And I can know that I'm loved, I can know I'm a pretty decent person, and I know that my actions have always been in line with the type of person that I want to be.
Yeah.
I'm not always right, I'm not always wrong, I'm not always good, but I'm okay, you know, and I think that that's half the battle is by being affected by these folks is to make sure that they really can't get to you, because they want to bring you down, they want to bring you grief, and okay.
We actually got that on video a couple of weeks ago when you were streaming, and I joined in on you, and you were being griefed, and I jumped in there without even hesitating. So points for me. You hear that, Saint Nicholas?
They weren't. Well, I'm glad you actually did do that. But at the end of the day, we saw them again a couple of moments later, and they were waving to us. So I think that in the gaming culture, I think there's griefing, and then there's what people want to consider griefing. I think a lot of folks in Red Dead are actually scared of other players because of the very few, very nasty ones. But for the most part, most players are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean...
But there are a lot of gun-happy, trigger-happy folks, because they're like, oh, I'm sure they're going to shoot me, I'm sure they're going to shoot me. Oh, quickly, they just waved at me, they're definitely going to shoot me. I should shoot them first. Well, do what you gotta do.
That's the thing, like, when I'm, like, riding with with people, like, take, for example, when I'm riding with, like, Clyde, and him and I come across a blueberry, and all I say to Clyde is, like, okay, be prepared with the gun, I'm gonna, like, flick my hat to them and, like, greet them, and if they, like, wave back or something, then we know, okay, it's good, we can relax. But we're always, like, on the edge, because we have been dealing with griefers for so many times that it... And to be completely honest, the Red Dead community as a whole is actually pretty toxic. Like, there's a lot of toxic people that play this game.
I disagree with you there, Lovey. Laval, I'm gonna disagree with you. I've had more positive interactions than I've had nasty interactions. Don't get me wrong, the nasty ones are nasty and you don't forget, you're always a bit wary. But I've had a lot of good ones too.
Yeah.
I've had folks that I've met that have led to meeting other people in the community who specialise in photography. I've met other streamers who are really, really great people and have their own enjoyment. I've met actual young ladies whose sole purpose of the game is just to ride horses. They try not to deal with the other elements of it, but because of the horse mechanics in this game is far superior than any other game out there, that's their portion. I meet people from all walks of life, but coming back to the original question, I also don't think that if I walk into Valentine and someone shoots me, and then they bugger off, I don't know if that's necessarily griefing, because it's a cowboy game. These guys, they literally come into a game, they've got an idea that they can be a cowboy. Well, okay, this happens. And you know what happens then? I get my Scott up, and I might go for a bit of a gunfight. But the perfect example of this the other day was that when we got shot, I was with Joao and Saracen, and this one fellow, he really enjoys the gunplay in this game, kicked our butt. He kicked it up and down, Valentine. And at the end of it, I believe Joao was the gentleman. He's like, you know what? We're done. You're just too good. And he was like, no worries. It kind of formed a respect.
Yeah.
It certainly got us heated, but the guy, he wasn't. When we decided to stop, he stopped. Griefing to me are the folks that use cheats to genuinely harass and single out a player. And that's griefing to me, is that harassment. It's those folks that feel the need to either bully, sexually harass, or use derogatory comments in a face. I've had that. I've been a victim, not a victim. Folks have tried it on, and I've had folks that just shoot and move on.
Yeah.
So I believe that there's a big difference between genuine griefing and folks that just had a bad day. So I'm just going to shoot this fellow and move on, it's a cowboy game. But can I just reiterate that second part of that word? It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
And it's a game. Now, if I'm going to take it to heart, get my Scott up, have a bit of gunfight, good stuff. If I take it to heart, get my Scott up, and then not only fire on them once, twice, 3 times, but I keep going even after they themselves are running away, I then think of myself as the griefer, or would think of myself as a griefer, and not them, even though they started it. Because, look, people shoot you for all sorts of reasons. I remember first starting this game, and Arthur shot the flaming butcher. I didn't mean to. I was just working out the mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
I remember
we've all
when
been
my first
there.
time online, I met a player. It was an absolutely amazing person, one of the first people I met. I came along and I thought I was helping him by shooting on the bad guys. He ended up shooting me, and then I was like a bit miffed by that, a bit confused. But then he actually put his voice over and he said, I don't know if you've got a microphone or not. And I was like, oh, right, no, yet, I certainly do. He says, I'm really sorry, but it's daily to shoot the hats off my enemies, and you're shooting my enemies.
Ah, okay.
So,
okay.
So was he a griefer in that situation? No.
No.
I was just young, I was naive to the game, so there's a big difference between just cowboy fun, a little roughhousing, and griefing. I'm dead set against griefing, and if anything, if I witness it, the first thing I do is block it, report it, and I certainly don't just report it to both Rockstar, but both PlayStation as well, because that kind of behaviour is, where I'm from, in most part, against the law.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the answer to my question. What a horrible subject, but we'll keep going.
Yeah, okay. Okay, this is the last, original question, and due to the fact that we still have time, we're going back after this to the question you asked me. But the question is, what's your plan for your channel in the future? Why do you have any plan for Miss Kitty Jones?
Oh, for sure. These next couple of months for me are actually quite personally busy at home, but for MKJ, for the Miss Kitty Jones, definitely. I really enjoy doing the replay, but I have a number of games here. I started with Uncharted. I have Call of Juarez. It's another Western game that I myself haven't even got to complete, but it's all about the gunslingers of the day, and it's really good storytelling. I really want to sort of showcase some of the other games that are out there. They're not brand new, they're not blockbusters. No, I'll leave them to the professional YouTube streamers to do those. I want to showcase some of my favourite games in my collection. As for the MKJ replay, definitely I want to perfect that. I'm still learning every single day. What you're doing here is something we've discussed, or I have discussed in the part. Adding to that program is to interview special guests, probably not in such an informative and well-diversed podcast manner, probably a little more in the MKJ way, so a lot more frivolous questions and riddles. But that was an element. And, of course, there are other ideas that we're certainly brainstorming on, but like you know, when you plan something, and you certainly when you're using other folks to help you out, getting it all together is really difficult, but definitely we've got a few ideas in the work, and it's just different ways of enjoying the game, I guess.
Yeah.
And we just want to showcase. We'll test it. People either like it or they don't like it. But for the most part, the MKJ channel as a whole will definitely feature probably games that folks like myself would enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, folks that work all day, they just want to play a good story game. They want to sit down at the end of their day and chill out. They want to try something different. Maybe it's a game they've always thought they wanted to play, and they know that they've got an old game at the back or a friend's got it, we'll try that.
Yeah.
And as for Red Dead, definitely going to keep that one going on because I have high hopes for the future.
Yeah.
I do believe that there's a lot to come, and I believe Rockstar, the creators, are really good at telling a story, and I really hope they get back to that base. Take-Two, on the other hand, they are definitely a business that's more about the economic part of it. Economics and art don't always go together, but I'm here for the long haul for that. So, yeah. And hopefully a few more interviews with you. How about that?
Yeah, we can do. I've been like thinking that I'm gonna do like more interviews with people that I've already interviewed and like talk about, you know, more stuff about Red Dead. Or perhaps you can interview me.
So what about yourself though, Laval? Like, I sit here and I'm listening to your podcast. We're having a good chat here, and you and I have had some pretty good conversations in the past. But I guess when you've got months like this, you've got your feature on the bounty hunt. Here's a question for you, Laval. Who's your favourite? Who's your favourite bounty hunt, and why?
Favorite bounty hunt?
Yeah, who do you like going after the most?
I mean, I don't really like going after like these top of the line bounties. I like to go after like these guys where you have to pick them off one by one. Like, you know...
Oh, yep.
The $3 sign bounty. The reason why I like doing those is because, well, they actually feel like, okay, so we're bringing down something. We're bringing down a gang and we have to do it step by step. So yeah,
right.
I like to do that.
Which one of those is your favourite though?
Oh, my favorite. I would probably say that my favorite is...
Like, you've got the action-packed folks out of Benedict Point. You've got the cult that leads into the legendary cult leader out of Valentine. You've got the moonshiners in Rhodes. You know, you've got the boys, Armadillo up there at Fort Mercer. You know, you've got the lads up in the mines. Probably more union sort of folks up at Annesburg. And then you've got the house robbers over there in Van Horn, like sort of specialist collectors thieves, I guess you can call them.
Yeah,
so which one really gets you joy?
I mean, I guess I like going after the Butchers of Benedict. The Butchers of Benedict Point are my favorite because, well, I'm quite odd, so when I go after a bounty, I actually like to read up on why they're wanted. And like reading these characters' stories, like they used to be soldiers or jail guards or you know, prison guards, policemen, and all that. That actually like okay, so I'm bringing down like corrupt, formerly state or national employees. So that's actually something that.
That's it.
Yeah, I like
but
to.
Also, that final mission down in Armadillo. Oh, the train coming in, the dust storm. That's just a whole lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dangerous with the dynamite, though. They're dangerous with the dynamite.
Yeah.
Been
So yeah,
blown up a couple of times.
Okay, but now we're gonna go back to the question that you asked me. Be prepared. Okay, so out of all the characters in story mode or online, I was gonna say or other players, but we're not gonna go there because that's just gonna be weird now. So, okay.
But a good conversation though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't wanna know that. Okay, I don't wanna know that.
Righto.
Okay, so who would you kiss? Who would you go to buy?
Play cake with?
Yeah, and who would you marry?
Well, you could have said, yeah, okay. Kiss, patty cake, marry.
And kiss.
Oh. You know the most difficult one is the one to kiss. So I'll start with marry. And you never forget your first, so that'd be John Marston. The first time I played Red Dead Redemption, and I met and played the story of John Marston, I absolutely fell in love with that character. I fell in love with his story. And genuine, which is probably a little narcissistic since we play the character, but oh well. I would probably... Interesting. What an interesting idea. I guess because I'm not a part of... Jeez. Because the other one is play patty cake with, isn't it? It's kiss and play patty cake. If I'm going to marry John Marston, then... Oh. Oh no, I just forgot his name. What am I saying? Cousin Alhoot. The gentleman who he's on, he's at Fort Mercer, he's the letter D when you do the legendary thing. Honestly, I keep telling everyone in my streams that he's my first husband. This is a guy that he just loves a good time, so I guess I would have a good time with him, certainly since he's serving moonshine. If you walk up on that fort when you're doing that legendary bounty, he's just talking about having a few drinks and a wild party and a good time. And honestly, he's kind of looks like either Travis Tritt or sort of country singer there. He's not as worse as the other, so I'm going to go with Cousin Alhoot up there at Fort Mercer, not the one beating the horse. So I would probably spend the evening dancing with him, especially since I'd had to take him in the next day and cash in his bounty. We probably wouldn't get along after that. So that would be the gentleman I would dance with or play patty cake with. And to kiss... Well... Yeah, probably Mr. Hickson. The moonshine. He's a 12-drink quarter, isn't he? Such a sour attitude. But wouldn't it knock his socks off when if he was trying to shut down my moonshine, of all I could think of doing with that shotgun, obviously I'd have to defend myself. But if he was at the end of my shotgun, I'd probably lay a good kiss on him. And then
okay, if I get this right, you would marry John Marston.
In a heartbeat.
You would marry an axe murderer. No. You would marry John Marston. You would spend the night with an axe murderer, and you would kiss a guy who literally burned a woman alive.
Agent Hickson. Hey, look, I can't go past a man in uniform, and he seems to... Look, girls love a bad guy. What can I say? No, look, these are interesting stories. I gave you my reasons. Cousin Albert doesn't seem to do a lot of axe murdering, the one I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Papa, or the uncle, or any of the Sheilas, or the gentleman with the horse. No, I'm talking about the gentleman up at Fort Mercer that's usually, if you listen to his story, he's just there having a good time. He runs too much moonshine, and too many people are having a good time in that place. I'd like to be a part of it. So yeah, that would be my answer this round.
Okay, definitely the most Australian answer I've ever heard.
Righto.
Okay, so the other one was, who would you like to have a drink with? Who would you like to have give you advice? And what was the third one? Who would you like to be in a posse with? And we got from the glorious island of Ireland, the Captain Hood in chat. Welcome, Captain.
Hey, sweets, how you doing? Good to see you, though, I should say. So, hey, good day, instead. Righto, so the question is who would I share a drink with? Who would I get advice from? And who would I ride in a posse with?
Yes.
Can I use any of the former answers? Or do I have to find completely different folks?
I mean, I did with completely different folks, so...
But you did with completely... Well, in that case, I'd definitely have a drink with Dutch. I genuinely would like to have a conversation with that man, pick his brains. On the controversial side of things, he's a complicated character. He has an amazing history and an interesting story, and he's not always good, but he's not always bad. So that would be someone I'd definitely like to have a conversation, so I'd have a drink with Dutch.
And from the glorious state of Georgia, we have Petty, who says I'm just here for Kitty. Well, it's not the best advice or the best support, but I guess I'll take it. And just so you know, she asked me these questions too. Watch the replay and you will see. So I am not doing this, and I'm just taking the piss out of something.
Well, it is true. I was interested by your answers. You took me by surprise with those answers.
I know that you're kidding, Petty.
We're up to the questions. In the Red Dead universe, who would I share a drink with? Who would I take advice from? And who would I ride in a posse with? And I'm going to share a drink with Dutch.
Yeah.
I'd definitely, probably... interesting. Take advice from... Wow.
Sorry.
Landon Ricketts.
Landon
I was trying
Ricketts.
to decide whether or not I would ride in his posse or not, but he seems like a lone wolf. Now, if for you guys playing at home, Landon Ricketts is in the Red Dead universe. I hope he makes a stage entry here, but he is a gunslinger. He's found in Mexico, and he has a history. That's the reason he's in Mexico, is he had his cleated side. And he's not always good, but he's not a bad guy. So he's also a very old gentleman, and he's survived. Probably a lot of gunslingers don't get to his age, so I'd want to know. I reckon he could teach me a thing or two.
I mean, when we're on the subject,
Jose is definitely one of there. Yeah.
When we're on the subject of like old gunslingers, Landon Ricketts, I think, is based very much on the real-life gunslinger Wyatt Earp.
Again, not necessarily a good guy, not necessarily a bad guy. Just a a man in a complicated time doing the best he could. And
yeah, but I think that what was I saying? Yeah, like gunslingers that actually became old. They had
Landon Ricketts?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Look that up.
I mean, it's just my opinion. I think he's based like on the gunslinger Wyatt Earp. Why? Because he doesn't really consider killing as an option. He only does it like in only if necessary. He is like he's questioning himself, like is it really worth being famous for killing people? And
well, it just means he's gained a conscience in his old age. It happens to all of us, Laval. When we're young, young, dumb, and full of life. Excuse me, Paddy, I know what you're thinking.
Petty just said, I was just up feeding Squeak, but headed back to bed. Have a great stream. Thank you so much for stopping by, Petty. And I know that you were kidding when you said you were just here for Kitty.
They're beautiful women, these ladies. They're truly inside and out.
The reason why I'm doing this is to promote the person I'm interviewing. So.
Wow. Well, that brings us to the third one. Who would I ride in a posse with?
Yeah.
And it couldn't be that anyone else. I, myself, Miss Kitty Jones, am the cousin of Miss Karen Jones. And, well, that lady, she's the firecracker of the family, a black sheep, and I think that we'd have one hell of a good time. And Rhodes, Valentine, Blackwater, or Saint Denis would not know what to do.
I mean, if Karen Jones is the cousin of Kitty Jones, and she's the black sheep of the family, And
look, but there's
from
much
what
love about
from what I've learned from you these past 2 years, don't take this the wrong way, but you have a drink, she likes to have a drink. You like to party, Luz. She likes to party.
Exactly. And look, at the end
And
of the day, there's also a part of that story.
she rides with a gang of murderous
And she knows how to handle
cutthroat
herself.
cutthroat bastards, and you ride with a gang with murderous, ruthless cutthroats.
Right? And always, when they ask her, I mean, Arthur is kind of a hammer. He's the type of tool that there's only one way he knows how to handle a situation. Miss Karen always gives the options. Do you want to do distraction, damsel in distress, or do I do this? Like, I think there's so much to Karen. She can ride, she robs a bank, she loves, she feels deeply, she's human, she has her vices that take her toll.
Oh shit.
She's almost a beating heart, I think, of the group, and she was one of my favourite characters out of the story, so for sure, I definitely think that we would paint the town red or burn it down. Miss Karen Jones and I would make one hell of a team to ride with, and quite frankly, we wouldn't be the type of people to bring bounties in. I definitely think we'd end up with a price on our heads, but it'd be a good time.
Yeah.
So. And the follow-up question, I think that was the last one, but yeah, that's my answer. So for the first three, there was kiss, spend the night dancing, quote unquote, with, and marry, and that was marry John Marston, because he was the first person. He got me into the Red Dead world. I loved that character. I loved his story. I would kiss. I spend the night with cousin Al Hoot, the gentleman up at Fort Mercer, who genuinely just wants a good time. He looks a bit like Travis Tritt, and I'm going to take his bounty in the next day, so I might as well share a drink and dance the night away. And I would definitely like to kiss Agent Mr. Hickson, only because I think that he's such a sour, cranky, tall drink of water. Why the hell not? Sweep him off his feet and shoot his kneecaps off with a shotgun. Why not? I often say on my stream that he's my second husband. If I'd be widowed a few times, but I think you can't go wrong with a man in uniform. So that was my first three. For the second question was, who would I drink with? That was Dutch for sure. He and I would have a conversation. He has a lot to say. I have a lot to say. He's an interesting fellow. Not always good, not always bad, but a definite dreamer like myself. Who would I take advice from? That was Landon Ricketts. Second only to Hosea, only because these gentlemen have lived the life and they've survived. So I definitely want to learn from those. And the last one was, who would I ride in the posse with? And that was Miss Karen Jones.
Yeah.
She's full of life. She loves hard. She defends hard. And I think she's incredibly loyal. So, and one hell of a good time. Why not? So they're my answers.
Yeah. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been going on for almost an hour and a half right now, and I think Miss Kitty actually needs to get off here pretty soon.
Oh, crikey. Have we? Oh,
Yeah.
we have. Yes, I've got horses to feed.
Yeah.
Actual horses.
Yeah.
Cranky at me.
Yeah. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone for stopping by, and don't forget to leave a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You know where it is. It's right there on the corner where it says subscribe, and then you click the bell. You can't miss it. I mean, if you're blind, you probably can, but I know that people that are chatting in chat, they aren't blind. So just go to subscribe, click the notifications, turn on the bell, so you will be updated with all my future interviews. And I also want to thank my very good friend Miss Kitty for actually helping me here with the interview. Kitty, it means a lot to me that you helped me out here today. I am totally grateful. And if you're interested in checking out Miss Kitty, don't forget to... Oh, we got a Saracen joining in.
Hey, Saracen, how you doing, sweet?
Now he's right behind you.
Oh! Yeah, look, that's that time of night. He's probably going, oh, jeez. But he's going to be very offended when I jump off. But look, no,
yeah, I'm going to jump off here.
Thank you so much for having me. I have had a fantastic time. We always have a good chat. I know the folks you're watching this later on, you're watching it now, probably already got to the conclusion that I can talk too much, which is fine. But I do enjoy what you've done here. I truly appreciate you having a chat with me. I think we've covered some pretty good grounds here.
Yeah.
So I am keen to see it. So thank you very much for having me.
But, okay,
outside of that, I'm definitely all for any questions. Put them in the comments if you've got questions in for myself. Laval will make sure you give them to me. He knows how to get in contact. So
yeah. But if you're interested in checking out Miss Kitty's channel, you can go to my featured channel and you will find Miss Kitty Jones. It's an incredible channel. She streams once a week, and it's incredible the way she streams, and I am eternally grateful that I'm your friend. And
oh, look at that. Hey, sweet talk gets you everywhere.
yeah,
On that,
I might be an asshole, but I still have a heart. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, all I gotta say is keep your nose to the wind, your eyes along the skyline, and watch your topknot. And I will see you all out on the trail. Take care, people. Have a good one.